Hi guys, my name's Marvin, my channel is Strength Chronicles, and today if you give me 5 minutes of your time, I can up your squat. So here's my low bar, root finger, powerlifting kneel. I'm gonna get under the bar, yeah? I'm gonna create a shelf with my rib delts, like so. I'm gonna sit it at the bottom of that shelf, right in the right position. I'm gonna stand up. I'm gonna get in my stance, which is slightly wider when I'm doing a low bar. My feet are 50% on my heel and 50% at the front of my foot, yeah? So I got that triangle between my heel, my little toe, and my big toe, and basically 33% each tension. Now, I'm gonna drop my hips down. My torso is gonna lean a little bit more than a high bar, right? And I'm going to shoot my knees outwards, put my hips slightly backwards to keep my shins vertical, and drop down. This one's going to work my adductors and glutes a lot more. Generally, because of the lower bar position, I'm going to be using slightly less upper back, but I can generally move, or most people can generally move more weights with a low bar in comparison to a high bar. Not always. So with all strength movements, yeah, gravity is obviously going to push straight down. Now, the more joints you can stack in a straight line, yeah, the stronger the movement's going to be. Hence why, in a low bar squat, I try and keep my shins vertical. I try to keep my foot and my knee directly below and above each other so they can handle the heavy loads that I'm going to be squatting. So if you watch like my ankle and my knee, yeah, this is a vertical shin. See my ankle and my knee, they don't really go too wayward. If I was to break this rule, which on a high bar is like sort of more accepted, not necessarily more efficient, but I'm just not gonna get the stability that I would get stacking my joints like that, because it's going to have a lot more drive on my knee. And if you want it to train for a really long time and you don't like knee pain, squatting super heavy like this probably isn't optimal in comparison to stacking the joints like that. Your knees always must communicate with your toes. The other thing, if you squat with your knees out like this and you've got knee valgus here, there's not very good communication. Vice versa. If your toes are inwards like this and you're going out like that, yeah, it's not going to be great for your knees either. So your knees need to, like, if you want to, you know, shove your knees out super sideways, you know, open up your toes. So when you open up your toes, yeah, you allow for greater glute activation, but you also allow for the lifter to shoot the knees out to the side like so, and open up all those hip muscles. My favorite assistance lift at the moment to complement my low bar squat is a front squat. Now front squatting, I stand a lot like I do on a sumo deadlift. Unlike my hip dominant squat, I'm quad dominant on this one. It makes my quad sore. Not a lot of exercises make my quad sore. I'm also gonna keep my torso super upright. Hey, if it's not upright, yeah, I'm gonna fall forwards, which really sort of gives me a lot of power when I'm sumo deadlifting. I know I can perform these every 2 weeks for, you know, sets of 5, sets of 6, something like that at like a, you know, relatively heavy weight, about 80%. And, you know, as long as I'm squatting heavy, my deadlift's not gonna go down because, you know, even though I'm not deadlifting, I'm slightly losing the skill. I'm getting a lot stronger squatting and I'm performing my front squats. So when I front squat, I rest the barbell on my shoulder. Now, it hurts my hands when I hold too close because I got this heavy barbell, yeah, and it's jamming in between my shoulder and the barbell. So, you know, I usually grip round about where the kneel starts, like that. Yeah, I put my elbows forward and create like a shelf on my front delts, like that. I'm getting that roughly a sumo deadlift stance, maybe a little bit closer. And then I pretty much treat it like a front squat, yeah? I jump down, my hamstrings touch my calves, my torso remains upright, and I feel the weight pulling me forward. I don't give in, I resist, and I pop back up. So generally after about 5 of those front squats, you know, it's a lot and almost becomes a cardio exercise. So yeah, I recommend sets of 5 or 6, but if you're doing sets of like 10 and 15 and you want to be a strength athlete, it might be time to, yeah, reduce the reps. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you gained something. Let me know in the comments and don't forget to like and subscribe.